So, hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast, this time with four people. Nia's away being, in Richard's words, an action man wannabe. Yeah, that's what she does in her spare time. So, this week we'll be talking about the US Grand Prix. Shall we get into it then? With your one-sentence race reviews, please. Starting with Ben.
Verstappen, one finger on the title.
Richard?
Can we just make every race a two-stopper?
Alex, if you can hear us.
Martin Brundle's grid walk was back.
Very true.
Full of great moments.
That's just him getting shoved out of the way.
Wait.
And for me, Merck messed up the strategy again. Because I think they should have pitted first. The overcut has never been that good in the USA. But yet they tried it twice.
If at first you don't succeed, try again? Question mark?
Not in Formula One.
Not when the evidence points the other way.
Exactly.
No, I mean, fair play from the Red Bull. I thought the second stop was early, though, to be honest, and that worried me going to the end. So I thought maybe Merck could do what they were going to do, and it was going to work, where they kept Hamilton out a bit longer to have that fresher life in the tyres at the end of the race, so that he could, basically just cruise past. But it just didn't work out that way. So, I mean, he was gaining, and it was at a rate that left him. At one point, it was going to be like 6 laps before the end of the race. He was going to catch up to him.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, this could be fun.
And then he hit the dirty air and just stalled.
Yeah, it just stalled out just outside of DRS range.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And that's what happened in the first stint as well. But shall we talk about qualifying first? Because that does come before the race in a Formula One weekend.
Lol at Lance Stroll.
Yeah.
Basically. And it was a case of all of the engine penalties just fighting for who was not going to be last.
And then we had Russell in last. And I did find it quite funny when during the grid rundown, Crofty's like, yeah, Russell's going to be the first driver since Pastor Maldonado to start 20th or below in a Williams and finish in the points. And I'm like, Crofty, he's just not finishing in the points though, is he?
Why did you say that? That was your prediction. You should have been egging him on at that point.
Yeah, but not when he starts 20th. He's still in a Williams.
Should have been all on board that hype train.
He still drives a Williams.
I do refer back to my point I said last week, where anyone in a Williams or Haas is not going to come from the back of the field to score points.
Exactly.
So, point proved.
Precisely.
So,
although he did have a good opening stint, he made up 6 places on lap 1.
Yeah,
that was from turn 1.
Man sent it and said, "Thank you very much."
Yeah,
which makes sense, to be fair, because when you're on the left-hand side of the grid, you've got a better line.
Yeah, you're on the inside.
Yeah,
seems kind of counterintuitive, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There were a couple of things that seemed kind of counterintuitive this weekend. One of which was pointed out by Jenson Button, that Valtteri has taken yet another internal combustion engine, but because he's already taken a penalty for taking extra combustion engines, he now gets a lesser penalty for taking even more combustion engines. So the first extra, so you're allowed 3, and if you take a 4th, you get a 10 place grid penalty, and then if you take a 5th, you only get a 5 place grid penalty.
I did notice that when I was reading the document. And I found that a bit odd.
I must agree with Jensen. I feel like it should be the other way round.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to stick to 3 And then if you go 1 over, that's not terrible. But then if you go 2 over, well, you've almost doubled the amount of engines you're supposed to use. So surely that should be a bigger slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I guess it's
F1
very
rules,
rare that
yeah.
anyone ever makes it to 5. I couldn't tell you the last time it happened.
Probably one of the earlier Danny Rick Honda Red Bull,
Possibly.
because
I
his
don't know.
engines kept blowing up.
I don't know why they gave Bottas the 5th though. Like they literally just took a 4th.
Maybe there was a problem with one of them.
I just remember seeing the tweet being like, "Update: Valtteri will take a 5th internal combustion engine." Sorry, what?
Yeah, really interesting on that.
Poor Valtteri.
He didn't really make any progress, did he?
No.
But then you saw when Lewis got within a second and a half of Max, he stalled out
Didn't
there.
make any
So,
progress, yeah.
You know, it's
I think that Merckx just wasn't set up to follow.
it's not been set up to follow for
No.
the last few years. But the thing is, Max and Lewis were going at such a faster rate that allowed them to go faster, because you look at the end results and those two are like 40 seconds clear of the rest of the field. And they're in a different category, basically.
Yep.
It doesn't
40 gap from Verstappen to Sergio, 42.2.
it just doesn't matter who you put in the second car of either team.
Mm.
Those two are still on a completely different level.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's all well and good saying, "Oh yeah, Bottas is the great number 2 and he does such a good wingman job." And it's like, well, when you're up against the likes of Hamilton and Verstappen, who can casually cruise out in the front, then yeah, that's all you're ever gonna be.
Exactly. Do you know what I've not seen recently on F1 Twitter, though? It's just the car tweets.
Yeah. But to be honest, that's kind of gone for both of them, really. So,
No, I still see that when Lewis wins it, to be fair.
I mean, no, but like if you look at the last few races, it's been
Yeah. The
close,
last couple of races, it's been close, yeah.
and that's been so much better. Like I know there wasn't, okay, barring lap 1, turn 1, where there was an on-track overtake for the lead, there weren't. Everything else was pit stop strategy, but that doesn't mean it wasn't a good race.
Yeah.
Just because there weren't on-track passes, it was still tense. And it still had that element of it was captivating in that sense, because you didn't know what was going to happen. It's not like, oh, Lewis has just cruised past Max and adios, see you at the checkered flag. It was, because that's generally what happens in a one-stop. And
And there goes Alex.
Ripperonis. But yeah, in a one-stop, it's basically, oh, you've come out ahead after the stop, and well, jobs are good, and
Yep.
barring some extra event that happens after that. But a 2-stop race just adds that extra intrigue. So
Yeah. Can we talk about lap 1, turn 1?
sure.
Could everyone in the lead up to the race, I think even as they were lining up on the grid, I think it was Paul Di Resta was like, yeah, I spoke to Max and he said, I'm not really caring about Lewis. The first time I'll look left is when I reach the apex of turn 1. And then the lights went out.
And he didn't get a good start.
Could he have looked any more left?
Well, he hadn't pointed his car left. That's the thing. Normally,
Yeah, I thought we were
Max
getting a
points his
Singapore
car to chop him off. But
Yeah. I thought we were getting a Singapore 2017.
well, that requires sandwich.
In terms of the pole position, just goes, hello, second.
Yeah, and chops across. But like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's understandable, but it's basically because he didn't get as good a start as Lewis did.
Mm.
So it's one of those things where Max had plans to just keep it on the outside and sail around, but had to very quickly adjust those plans when he realized he did not get the launch he was anticipating. So
Oh, Alex is back. Hooray! Welcome back, Alex. For now.
This is interesting.
I do also want to cover off sort of lap 1, turn 2-ish. That if third place was anyone other than Checo,
There would have been a collision.
Max would not be in second place.
Yeah. There either
I'm
would
not
have been
so-
a
yeah.
collision or
I don't know. I feel
they
Max
would just have been overtaken.
I feel like Max would have lost out in that situation.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he would have 100% lost second.
So yeah, Checo doing the team game there.
Checo was just after you.
Checo's imagining Helmut Marko with a
Yeah.
lighter held under his contract. Should you let him through, or this goes? But I mean, to be fair,
Have they confirmed Checo for 22? The whole
Yeah.
grid's confirmed now, is it not? Yeah.
yeah, it's all
apart
done.
from the
Yeah,
Alfa.
one-
Apart from one Alfa
Alfa
Romeo
seat.
seat, yeah.
But
Then again, this is Red Bull.
true. But like the whole battle at the front was a complete inverse of what we're used to in a way, because we had 2 Red Bulls, one Merc instead of 2 Mercs, 1 Red Bull. And it showed that Red Bull have the strategic know-how to force Mercedes' hands. I mean, even Max has that ability, and he was driving around the track. So yeah, I think from a Red Bull point of view, they've had a pretty damn good weekend. What's the gap in the constructors down to now?
23 points, I think.
Yeah, it's still quite significant, but
Yeah, but it's shrinking.
it's coming down.
So, unlike the Drivers' Championship gap. Sorry, Alex, no 1 point or fewer for you.
Yeah. I don't know if Alex heard that one. He just looks confused.
I-
Sorry, Alex.
I love it. There
He's
we go.
back.
So yeah, it's good to see a strategic race that wasn't dull, because we've had strategic races. You have a strategic race like Monaco, and it's like, well, yeah, that's strategy on when you pit. Are you going to be in a nice pocket of space to push fast, or have you just pit yourself into traffic? Whereas this was. Well, I mean, I suppose this is because Monaco was only a 1-stop anyway. So
Yeah.
this being a 2-stop, it just opens up so many avenues. And
Monaco was a one-stopper and a one-overtaker.
yes, and we didn't see it.
Exactly.
But I think I don't want to like change the rules to try and force entertainment into the sport, but I feel like a tweak to the tyre rules would potentially do such a thing.
Just change it from you have to use 2 compounds to you have to use them all.
Yes, yeah, exactly. If you have to use all 3 compounds, that means every race at base minimum is going to be a 2-stop.
Possibly even a 3-stop.
Yeah, it depends on. It'll then depend on what people think is faster. Do you go
Soft,
hard,
medium, hard.
soft, medium, hard.
soft, hard. Yeah.
Yeah, or even if it's not use all 3 compounds, it's use 3 sets of tires,
Yeah.
because then you can do soft, medium, soft, soft, hard, soft, medium, medium, hard, whatever.
Bring
But just
back the rainbow, give the teams all the tyres and say,
any
you have
3.
to use 3.
Yeah.
Go.
I mean, I'm down for that, to be honest.
That would be an amazing strategy race.
Just got a Haas at the back on hyper softs, overtaking Lewis on a set of super hards.
Yeah.
But then Mazepin has to pit every lap because he doesn't know how to control his tyres. So, yeah. It would be interesting, but I feel like there'd be some safety questions raised with Pirelli having to announce how many laps they think each tyre is going to be doing, and it would suddenly from like a paragraph to an essay.
Yeah, just the graphic at the start taking up the whole screen.
A projected pit stop. Which one would you like?
There's just a normal one stop, and then there's like a 10 stopper.
Hypes up, hypes up, hypes up.
And then it rains.
Oh God! But no, I feel like that would be a way to add a little bit of
Yeah.
intrigue to it. Because
I love a good two-stopper. There's some circuits that can pull off a one-stop.
yes, definitely.
And there's some circuits that really suit a two-stop, like the US.
But I mean, like
It's trying to find that happen, and then there's Monaco.
it's circuits where the pit delta's too big, isn't it?
Mm.
You think of Silverstone
Silverstone.
being the biggest example of the easiest example of that because of the ridiculously long speed limit on the pit lane.
Mm.
Just you lose so much time going into the pits that nobody wants to make a second stop.
Yeah.
So I guess the only way you can, if you force it, adding the extra rule, but it would completely upend the strategy aspect of things.
Mm.
Which might be fun, but then again, we're getting a whole completely new set of rules next year, so we'll
Yeah, exactly.
have to
So let's
goes.
see what we get next year first.
So, I mean, I still think, because let's be honest, they've, as much as they changed the wheels to bigger rims and all that sort of stuff, they're still going to have the 5 compounds, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I still
They're
think
not bringing back the rainbow, as far as I'm aware.
sad noises.
Yeah, sad tire noises.
Sorry, Alex said he's given up with the internet, so
That's fair enough.
He's-
Thanks
he's-
very much for joining us, Alex.
he's spamming me in Discord with all of his thoughts. They're just brilliant. Right, so
What his
and,
thoughts are on a mandatory two-stop.
Max and Lewis are miles clear of the rest of the grid. Max has one hand on the title given the tracks coming up, and that was a champion's drive, he said. The Merc is awful in dirty air, and they shouldn't have changed their setup from Friday. Now, see, I
Yeah.
don't know about that because, like,
I do
as
actually
much
want
as
to bring that
were,
up.
they were like
Didn't
a
they
second
finish
clear.
FP1 like a second clear?
Yeah, but I feel like everyone else had their engines turned down more than the Mercs did.
Or they just had a good setup and then went,
Yeah.
no.
So, yeah, and that very, very clever system they've got where the whole car squats. That's incredibly neat because it doesn't do it round corners. Because I think, imagine going into somewhere like Kuon, that'd be a disaster.
Yeah.
But because it's only if the load is equally distributed over the car that it squats down. As soon as you add any sort of lateral load, it'll pop back up again. But then it works worse in DRS because it hasn't got the same load on the rear wing. So Mercedes once again designing their cars to drive at the front. And, I mean, as ingenious...
Just bring back DAS.
as ingenious and innovative as it is, I feel like it's again a sign of their overconfidence in their car and their drivers to be at the front with dead fast consistency.
Well, one of their drivers is always at the front.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not necessarily at the very front because sometimes he has Max in front of him now. So
Until next year.
I wouldn't count out Adrian Newey.
George Russell.
I mean, yeah, this is
don't know.
true. George is going
think-
to come and barnstorm everyone.
I genuinely have the feeling that Red Bull have put too much into this year to be able to properly capitalise on next year.
I don't know. I feel like it's all smoke and mirrors,
Because wasn't everyone like,
how much
don't
Christian,
count out Adrian Newey in 2014 and then
yeah,
Mercedes wins all the championships?
yeah, I don't know, but still, I feel because we know how much Christian loves to put on a show. So the whole smoke and mirrors of development and this season and next season and what's going on and are they bringing upgrade packages and that, I feel like they're just sort of hiding away the fact that they've done a lot and they're pretty confident in their car. So
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I can't wait for the car reveals.
Oh, yeah. The cars are going to look good.
Valentine's Day is usually a good one.
Mm.
I think it was McLaren last year, wasn't it? Or was it this year?
Yeah, and then didn't Alpha do one?
Yeah,
before,
they're
something
all like
that?
they're all like on that week. So, but let's see what else has he got. Merck missed their chances at the races. They were faster because something always seemed to go wrong. Fair. Ferrari are looking good for third again. Sad McLaren noises.
Very sad.
But to be honest, I think they've done McLaren have done quite well because they've it was damage limitation really.
Yeah,
Because while Charles finished 4th, Danny finished P5, and then Carlos finished 7th, but Lando finished P8. So
yeah. From what Lando said after the race, and that it sounded like he didn't have like a super weekend this weekend.
yeah, not ideal, but 'tis what 'tis. So not much you can do except the best you can in the package. So
Yeah.
sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't, and it definitely didn't for Gasly. So Alex also said he hopes that Perez is as strong in Mexico because the crowd will be incredible. I mean, the crowd's always incredible in Mexico anyway, but now that Checo's in a front-running car, oh my God.
You see his car lift up as he wins the Grand Prix.
Imagine Checo gets pole at Mexico. Oof. That would be absolute scenes.
Okay, it's James. Let Verstappen through.
But then, I mean, it was. I'm just trying to like remember what happened in the midfield because it was sort of all over the place, really, wasn't it? It was very much McLaren v Ferrari.
Yeah, on
Then you
that one.
sort of get anywhere further back than that, and it's all just a mad.
There was Alonso and Kimi. They had a good little battle.
a combined age of 82.
Alonso and Giovinazzi as well.
Yeah. And then the Alpine team radio.
Fernando, give the place back.
No.
All
the time, I will take it a space.
Gio literally does the exact same thing on the next lap. Gio, give the place back. So does someone just want to be 11th?
So, but yeah, it was pretty much comedy gold for that. But just
Michael, can you overtake on the outside?
No. So you can no,
but Kimi just did it. But you can't do it.
It's not okay.
But Kimi did it. So is that okay? No.
But you look at it, and Alonso's literally just shoved him off the track, and it's like, what happened to all the time? You will have to live in a space.
It's like the greatest house dive bomb in the world.
Oh yeah, it's just like I'm not making it. So you know what? Neither are you. But at least he did his dive bomb in a sensible way and didn't take anyone out of the race. Singapore Daniel Kvyat. What else has Alex said? Mazepin is an egg. Yes. Shaquille O'Neal is the tallest man on the planet. He was still taller than Max, and he was on the step of the podium, wasn't he?
No, it was Lewis. He was taller than.
Okay.
In fairness to Mazepin, for this one race, he had a problem with his headrest, and that's why he had to make an early second stop to drop so far behind. But it's still funny.
Oh, well. It sucks to be him.
Yeah, it's still very funny.
And lastly from Alex, Brundle's grid walk was the highlight of the weekend. Getting game set and match by the Venus and Serena Williams combo.
Yeah, and then there's Megan Stallion.
The biggest bodyguard I have ever seen in my life. Oh my god.
Man, you can't do that. I can. I
Just did. It's kind of like, I'm sure you've probably had to like agree to some waiver or something that says there are film crews here. They might ask you some questions.
Mm. Yes, you're on a Formula One grid. You will likely be asked about Formula One.
Yeah. I mean, at least Rory McIlroy was good enough to stop and chat.
Mm.
So, and
It was good to have a nice sense of normality around the Formula One weekend, though.
It was weird to think how much I'd missed the chaos of a grid walk.
Yeah.
Like, it's been so long, but there's been so many great moments on grid walks from, I think it was, I want to say it was 2006, Brazil. Kimi, you missed the presentation from Pele.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's just comedy gold at its best. It's because it's so chaotic.
Yeah.
You never get the same grid walk twice. Yeah, it's just interesting to see how many people go to these things.
Mm.
And I mean, I know some of the celebs are invited by teams and whatnot, and it's whoop-de-doo, and why isn't it me?
Yes, I think it's very hard to get one of those purple lanyards that give you access to the grid. FIA, hit us up.
Jean Todd, you know what to do, my man. One of these days I'll mention him in an episode and he'll actually comment.
Yeah.
One of these days. He's probably not allowed to comment on it under like some impartiality clause. So.
But yeah, I'm just looking forward to the day when Ted Kravitz gets back into the pit lane and not on the roof.
Yeah, should be good. Should be soon.
Although, don't get me wrong, I loved testing when he's sitting in the grandstand with his telescope.
That's a different specification front wing. I can tell this from all the way over here. I was going to say, because Karun was closer to the pit lane this time, wasn't he? Because he was giving updates on pit stops and whatnot.
Yeah, I think they're allowed on the roof still. I don't know if they're allowed in the pit lane.
Maybe they're not allowed like all the way in, but there's like a specific part that's like, you can stand just there.
Here.
that's all you're getting. So, but no, I mean, it was nice to see huge numbers of fans.
400,000.
Yeah. That's the weekend total. It was what,
180,000, I think, for the race.
Something like 160, 180, something like that. But no, it's good to see. I mean, especially seeing as Liberty Media have taken over Formula One and that, so obviously they're trying to push it to an American audience as well.
As is evident by the second American race next year.
But at least, there is a desire for it.
Yeah.
It's not like...
And they weren't rioting and chanting, "We want refunds."
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say, it's not like, we're adding another Middle Eastern race where it never sells out.
Turn 5 trip to Qatar.
Mate, discount, yeah, boy. I think we could actually do a trip to Austria next year because that is cheap.
Probably could. It's possible. Keep an eye out on our social media and we'll let you know if we're going to a race.
And I also want to get us to do a WTF1 karting event as a team.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Obviously. Now that we're best pals with Matt, I mean...
Yeah, exactly.
We got to take him out.
Absolutely spear him. Did you see
Fernando
that? Did you see the live karting event? Because Matt almost got wiped out in an absolutely outrageous dive bomb.
Anyway, this is not a promotional segment.
Of course not. We're just making up for the fact that we had him on last week.
Yeah, exactly.
And only mentioned links in the last 30 seconds.
But I think a race trip would be very good. Austria or Silverstone.
Austria's cheaper than Silverstone.
That's very true. Paddock Pass. paddock passes.
I can't afford that. Jesus Christ.
But
We don't
Yeah,
get enough
back to the
sponsorship.
back to the United States, has seeing that amount of fans show up to the race in Austin made you more excited for the Miami Grand Prix?
I wouldn't say it's made me more excited for it, but I would say it's given me hope that it's not going to be a flop.
Hmm.
Because, I mean, it's always the worry when you go to a new circuit, isn't it? It's like, is it actually going to be any good at overtaking? But I feel like the crowd can play a big part in that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you go to places like Monza, Silverstone, the big classic tracks that everyone wants to go to, that have the really passionate fan bases, and the drivers that they're behind just seem to go to another level.
Yeah.
And I mean, you get it in other sports like home team advantage and whatnot, but the amount of people at COTA was great to see, and it wasn't like there was one specific driver that had the most, because there was, whenever there was an overtake or whatever, like there were cheers for Lewis getting into the lead and there were cheers for Max getting back into the lead. It wasn't like it would be in Silverstone or Zandvoort, where it is quite clearly a bias one way or the other.
Zandvoort, sorry, I think you mean the Church of Max Verstappen.
The Temple of Orange, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that's good to see, and I feel like that's good for the sport in a way, because when you're listening to the broadcast and there's cheers either way rather than just for one person, it's better. So
No, I would agree.
no, I still think 2 stops would be the way forward.
Yeah, definitely agree.
So
Prediction scores, please, Richard. It's that time of the episode.
Oh, Chris, you didn't come last this week.
Yes.
Congratulations. However, you are still in last.
Yes.
in the overall standings.
But the gap closed. The gap closed.
Wait, who was second last time out? No, it didn't.
Oh.
Because the winner this week was Nia, who got 7 points. Because she said Verstappen would get pole, Verstappen would come in first, and Hamilton would come in second. But she said Ricciardo would finish third.
He did not.
Did not. Chris, your 3 points came from Perez finishing third.
I was right.
That should be 4 points. That should be 4 points. I do beg your pardon. Because you also have Hamilton on the podium.
Yeah.
But
no Bottas.
Brings you one step closer. Then everyone else. Oh no, Sonia got 5 points for Verstappen pole, Verstappen P1, and Hamilton on the podium.
Mm-hmm.
Which means my lead has shrunk because everyone else got 2 points for putting Hamilton and Verstappen the wrong way round.
Bold predictions?
Alex said the championship gap would be less than 1 point. It is not.
No, it's 12.
Nope. Ben, you said Seb would finish in the top 8. He did not. Chris, you said Williams would be in the points. They were not.
They were not.
Nia said that Carlos Sainz would finish 7th and Charles Leclerc would finish 11th. Carlos held good on his promise. Charles exceeded expectations somewhat. So I've given a half for that.
Fair enough.
Was fair. I said there'd be a change for 3rd in the constructors, and there wasn't. Sophie said George would get through into Q3. He did not. And Matt's prediction that we're not entirely sure on, we'll just give you half a point, Matt. Thanks.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Because a car did break, and I feel like that's good enough for me. Cool. Mazepin Bingo.
Then Mazepin Bingo.
Oh, yeah. So he got lapped on lap 20 because they helpfully announced it on the broadcast.
They did, yeah. They were like,
So
the first blue flags are being shown.
I was like,
Oh.
oh, now's a bit of time. I quickly ran over to my phone to take a look at what lap we were on. And he finished 2 laps down in the end. So Chris with 2.5 points because you got the closest lap. You win this time. Me and Alex both got 2. Ben, Nia, and Sophie all got 1 because he finished, and Matt did not score. Sounds
F.
So,
F to pay respects.
yeah, but next time out, we will be previewing the Mexican Grand Prix. So
We will.
get your predictions in ahead of that.
Indeed.
For your chance to feature on next week's episode. So
Who knows? We might even invite you on if you get in early enough.
if you've got enough of a social media presence to boost our
Yeah.
views.
If you are Matt Gallagher.
Oh, God.
But anyway, I think that wraps up this week's episode.
Yeah.
Quick one, but we'll talk about W Series and things next week.
Yeah.
When we're all not working over the race weekend and the races aren't at obscene times at the night. Is this how it feels to be Australian?
But don't they have it?
Yeah,
early in the
because
morning.
no, because California's early.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
When it's European, California's at like 6 a.m.
Yeah. So this must be what it's like being an Australian Formula One fan.
Shudder.
It's
And we
like
need to
a
do
whole-
it twice next year. 3
Ooh.
times. We've got Canada as well. Oh,
like a whole day of waiting.
I know. That's
Yeah, it
what I
was
remember
weird.
seeing everyone on Twitter. It was like 8 o'clock at night, and it's Saturday. And we haven't had qualifying yet. At this time,
What's going on? Yeah, well, the race next time out is 7 till 9.
That's
well, it's a bit earlier.
Slightly.
There has been
Qualifying,
a small improvement.
qualifying is 8 till 9. So,
I wonder if Max will just admit to speeding under yellow flags again.
that'd be fun. I wonder if
Keep
Valtteri
Bottas
will
take his-
reshape the Tech Pro barrier again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll have to take his 7th engine.
And
So
gets
he
a
has to take 2
place-
engines at the next race.
No, he has to take a 2-place grid penalty
Yeah.
because that's how it works, right?
0.5 penalty point.
No, you don't get penalty points for engine penalties. That's not your fault. That's the team's fault.
If you crashed and destroyed an engine, it kind of is your fault.
Unless you get crashed into.
Bottas
Yeah.
bowling.
Yeah.
Bottas got penalty points for Bottas bowling.
Yeah, but he also didn't help his engine out that much, did he?
True.
So
Well, his engine, I think, was okay because he went head on.
this is true. It was just everyone else's engine. that
Everyone
got
else's engine, not so
absolutely
much. But
annihilated.
Bottas's engine was good. So was Lance Stroll's when he did a bit of bowling too.
The protege. Oh God, right. Yeah, so Mexico preview and W Series season review next
Yes.
time out because the season has finished.
I get to moan about W Series' graphics again because they're still purple.
It's always going to be purple, Chris.
Make them black.
Oh.
Every other series handles black.
Got to be different.
I know. I think the Freca season review is due soon as well. I think their season finale's this weekend.
I honestly can't remember the last time I caught a Freca race live.
Yeah, I couldn't actually tell you last time I watched one. To be honest,
Fair enough.
I think I gave up after Zandvoort.
Well, you did well to get that far. I think the last one I saw live was Monaco.
And that's because it was a Formula One weekend.
Yep. Right.
But yes, that wraps up this week's episode. Thank you all very much for watching, and we will see you next week. Ta-ra.
Bye.